This video is brought to you by Blue Guardian, the only prop firm that protects their traders.
This is an area of demand, and we are in this trade right now, floating in a little bit of drawdown, but that's why we have multiple positions. So just in case we did react off that level and continue with structure and go long, great, we're in the trade. If not, and we actually come lower, which I think is probably going to be the case, we'll sweep sell side liquidity and look to buy it again around 57475. What's going on, fellow traders? Hope you guys are doing really well today. Welcome to this episode of the pre-market analysis series here on the TRADINGNUT YouTube channel. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend and are preparing well for the upcoming trading week ahead. So as most of you should know, we experienced NFP this past Friday. That did inject a lot of volatility into the market. We are starting to see some more clear direction. Finally starting to get that pickup in volatility, which is definitely expected when NFP came out.
Our sponsor Blue Guardian is the only prop firm that gives their traders a tool to protect them from hitting their max daily loss and over trading. It's super simple to use. Just set the Guardian Protector each day from your dashboard. Did you also know that they've just released an unlimited time evaluation with a 0 trading days requirement, giving you plenty of time to hit their low 8 and 4% targets, making it super fast to get funded. Plus, it's cheaper than the 40-day time limit evaluation. Check out the link and coupon in the description to get 10% off your next Blue Guardian evaluation.
What happened here, I'm on the US dollar right now, looking at pretty much the DXY. It's just the US dollar, pretty much the same thing. And what we experienced today, because I'm recording this on Friday, markets are now closed, we had an initial shot up. So the dollar experienced a little bit of buying pressure, then followed through for the rest of the day bearish. If we zoom out to the higher time frame, what we'll notice, and I'll just go to the daily, is we can see that we have a large area of imbalance, right? This was the last buying pressure back in 2022 before the huge drop. And now we can see we're experiencing some sort of follow through back up to the upside. I would like price to come into that supply zone and fill that imbalance. So I don't think that the bullish run is over quite yet. So having that understanding, we can then take that and then go towards, AUDUSD, EURUSD, NZDCAD, and pretty much all the majors that have the US dollar as a part of their base and look to potentially short, right? Because if we're going long on the dollar, we should be looking to short XXX-USD. So not to say that we can't have any bearish pressure this upcoming week. However, I just don't think we're overall quite done with the overall upside. All right, so with that being said, let's talk about AUDUSD. So AUDUSD is definitely very much bearish, right? The dollar is still strong. We're making lower lows and lower highs all the way down. So this was the high that created this low. This is the new high that created this new low. So within here, this is the new range, right? So this is the lower low. We're experiencing some sort of overall pullback. So what I would like to see potentially is, a further run to take Friday's high come next week, maybe further into this level of supply, maybe into this level of supply. We do have a little bit of an imbalance up here. So I would like to see potentially, short-term buying for overall selling and having that one more leg down to the downside because US dollar is still strong at the moment. So if I just scale into the 15-minute, we are seeing this counter trend bullish run. So what we saw here during NFP was that initial bullish run of the US dollars that pushed AUDUSD short, swept the sell side liquidity back from Thursday, so yesterday during New York session, took that liquidity and then followed through to the upside, breaking that structure, creating a new higher high. So I would like to see some sort of pullback for continuations, maybe into this level of demand or that level of demand here, just following overall structure, but having the understanding that we still are higher time frame bearish on AUDUSD. So maybe looking for potential shorts if we can get a pullback, great. Short-term buying for overall long-term selling. All right, so that's kind of like what I'm going to be looking for this upcoming week. I don't really see anything too pertinent. I mean, this demand zone is kind of enticing. However, we did come into this level of supply, so we could easily make a lower low. So we'll just kind of wait and see what happens throughout the week. CAD Swiss franc. So the reason I want to talk about this is really just from a higher time frame perspective. We have equal highs. Right? We never took this previous high here. So that being said, we have a lot of buy side liquidity. I would like to see another run up into the high. So I know we are overall bearish, and that's something we do definitely need to keep an eye on. However, we have buy side liquidity here, buy side liquidity here. I just would like to see further pushes to the upside. So we are having a little bit of a pullback. What I would like to see, especially in here, this is a very clean accumulation. And let me just go to the VFI volume flow indicator to see if we had any divergence, and we did. We had a ton of divergence. Volume is increasing while price was decreasing, right? We accumulated and then we started to expand. So I do think that any pullback or probably would be good for continuations to the upside. So this is really the last selling volume that failed to generate the lower low, and then we went long. Let me just scale in to what's going on in here. So we can see the accumulation. We can see that we had our final liquidity run. I indicated liquidity run here because these look like equal lows, but if we look at the actual low here, what we'll notice is that this low actually did sweep that low. So that is a sell side liquidity run, and then we had that follow through the upside breaking the structure. We pulled back into that last selling volume demand, and then we kept going. So that would be the last selling volume, and really where we could come back down into this range, into this accumulation for continuations along into buy side liquidity. So looking forward that on CADCHF. Again, that may not happen for a week or so. Who knows, just depending upon how slow or fast the market moves. Just wanted to give you an overall picture there. CHFJPY, we called out these levels for the past 2 months or so. If you recall from prior pre-market analysis videos, obviously we are in a huge bullish uptrend. But what happened in here that gave me a lot of conviction this is going to continue long was not only because of the structure, but also because of how price was reacting towards liquidity. So obviously we look to buy into buy side liquidity, sell into sell side liquidity when we're trending a specific way. In this case, trending bullishly. So we want to continue to look for buy side liquidity to be run in momentum. So quickly to go over the structure here, obviously a higher high, higher low, we came down into that last selling volume, made another higher high here. When we broke this counter trend, that was the last selling pressure that failed to generate the lower low, and that's where we made the higher high. So overall, that's exactly why we came back down into here. What's interesting about this, and I'm going to scale into this in a minute, and you can go back and look at all the XXXJPY pairs. They pretty much did the exact same thing when the news came out end of July. I think it was maybe some sort of CPI data. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. But anyways, we were generating buy side and sell side liquidity. We ran sell side short, enticing all the sellers to come into the market, sweeping any sell side liquidity as well. And then what happened was we mitigated that level of demand, but we did the same thing here. We created buy side and sell side, equal lows and equal highs. We ran higher first, almost like the break and retest of this retail support here. Break and retest, people were going short again. Lower time frame, people were buying above the breakout of this resistance, quote unquote. So then we fell short again, right? Sweeping buy side, sweeping sell side, and then we went long. So this is what we classify as type 2 manipulation. The buy, the sell, and then the buy, right? Or if it were going short, sell to buy to sell, right? So when we finally had that manipulation below liquidity into that demand that we just talked about, and then we made another higher high, where would we likely pull back into? Well, we had this level here, 161, just within this imbalance, and also 160.5. Psychological levels, last selling volume, that's really where the structure started to shift to the upside. So if I scale out, what we'll notice is that we have equal highs here. We have 1, 2, 3, and now 4 touches of this trend line. So a lot of buy side liquidity, and that's exactly why I wanted to buy from these two levels, because now we have an excuse to go long, because not only is the structure bullish, but we have a lot of buy side to take as well. So we had that huge manipulative move. This was Tuesday during Asian session. So I believe that was some sort of rate statement for maybe I'm getting my news dates mixed up. Anyways, there was some sort of manipulation here. This was actually 10 a.m. Eastern time. So this was during New York session. So we had that spike to the downside and then we rallied. So I do fully expect price to continue long. And that we can see that as a theme across all these other yen pairs. And I'm going to quickly go over EURJPY just to kind of get that out of the way since we talked about CHFJ. Same sort of deal here, right? We made the higher high, the higher low. We can see that we generated buy and sell side liquidity. We have buy side here, we have sell side here. We ran lower, enticing breakout traders below that support. And then we went higher to take buy side liquidity. It's all about liquidity and direction. We actually came down into this previous swing point here. And what we'll notice on the higher time frame is that 160, if I can just scale out and find it, maybe I can't. Anyways, 160 is that psychological level and overall objective. It doesn't mean I'm going to be shorting from that level. That just means that any longs that I get into, which I am in now, will be looking to take profit. So scaling back out, again, the same sort of deal occurred here, right? We had a lot of buy and sell side liquidity in here. We ran higher, almost like the break and retest here, right? We broke and retested this support level. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Oh, we broke, retail shorting. Oh, break and retest, or we're shorting again. Nope, right back to the upside. So all of it was just to, sweep people out of the market before the big boys could come in and take over. So 154.9, it's pretty much the previous high right here. Also the imbalance, and we also have 153.5, which is that last selling volume that flipped from supply to demand. So we created that higher high. So overall looking for a pullback. Again, generating liquidity in here. Generating buy side and sell side. We shorted off, right? Enticing those momentum traders short. We rallied into 154.9, filling some of the imbalance along the way, and now we're continuing higher. Could we come back down into 153.5 and go long? Potentially. I mean, we are still in this pullback phase, right? However, overall direction is definitely bullish, so that's really my main point here. We're going to continue to look to buy XXXJPY into this upcoming week if we can find additional setups. So let me go back to EURAUD. Didn't talk about that yet. EURAUD is interesting because obviously, yes, we are in a higher time frame uptrend. This is a higher high. This is a higher low. This is a higher high. This could be a higher low for a potential higher high. Could we see further downside, maybe sweeping sell side in here, coming into this huge, huge, huge accumulation, potentially around 1.6 psychological level? That's something we could see. So that's why, I have this level of interest, 1.6735 as an area of potential supply. So what happened in here, within this overall pullback, we're making lower lows, lower highs, obviously, but in here we created equal highs. We ran higher, just by a couple pips, we swept buy side liquidity. Then we came down, right? We started to trickle. 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches. Oh, we bought above the trend line, so price broke the trend line. It actually retested the trend line. That's why we saw price go long here, enticing retail buys, and then we fell and took their stops. So that created that huge level of supply here. So that's exactly where I'm looking to buy into. And we can see that we generated, or now are generating equal highs here. A lot of buy side liquidity above these highs. That would be great to look to buy into that supply. Potentially look to short from that level as well. But anyways, what we can see is retail support. Stopped, 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 and then we broke. So retail was definitely looking to sell below the breakout, and then we went long. What we can see here is that we failed to generate any sort of lower low, right? We're making higher highs, higher lows. That's the last selling volume. Price pushed up higher, created these equal highs. When price pulled back, that'd be a great area to look for longs. Our VIP and signals group did get in on these longs. We're on a little bit of profit. I do fully expect price to continue long this upcoming week. So looking for continuations to the north here, 1.6735. Not the best risk reward in the world, about 1 to 3, but not a bad setup at all, and then potential shorts from that level. So that's EURAUD. We already talked about EURJPY. EURUSD, yeah, I am looking for potential longs on EURUSD. However, we know, like I said before, the dollar is still quite strong at the moment, so I don't want to necessarily force longs. However, because of what happened with NFP today, we could see some at least short-term follow through this upcoming week. So all of this sell-side liquidity was run, huge bullish push on the dollar. So XXXUSD went short, and then we rallied long for the rest of the day, and the dollar fell. So we have to be careful here because we know the dollar is still strong. So could we just push down and continue like that? Maybe this could be some sort of sell to buy to sell type 2 manipulation, potentially. But right now, we're bullish, right? At least short term. Higher highs and higher lows are starting to come in. And if we take a look at the other dollar-based pairs, I'm not going to go over those today just because I don't really see much on them. But if you go look at like GBP USD and a pair like that, you'll notice that we have relatively equal highs. So that's why I am looking for, maybe at least short-term dollar weakness. So that would be great to look to buy from this level of demand. If we get a further push into the imbalance, maybe this demand in here for potential longs. So that's definitely something I'm going to be looking out for.
All right, folks, I'm here at Black Bull Markets headquarters in Auckland, New Zealand. You can see this amazing view behind me of Auckland Harbour. Now, talking about views, if you do want to get free TradingView Pro, then all you need to do is trade 1 lot a month at Black Bull Markets, and they're going to give you free TradingView Pro. So, folks, to find out more, click the link in the description below or the card above.
Just a couple more. USD Swiss franc providing a really great setup for us now. We can see that we are at least counter trend bearish, right? We've made a high, we made a low, we made a higher high, now we've made a lower low. So I would like to see some sort of pullback for continuations. I like these levels in here. We've been looking at these levels for potential long opportunities. We have imbalance, we have that demand, and this was created after equal lows were run, sell to buy. And then we created, if you can scale into that, but there's an area of demand here and here. So looking for potential longs from these two levels. If we get a deeper push, what we'll notice is these equal highs and these equal lows. We talked about this many times before in previous videos. We rallied higher, enticing the breakout traders above the resistance, rallied lower, taking their stops, and then attracting the sellers below the support, and then we rallied higher again. So that buy to sell to buy type 2 manipulation. And then we had 3 levels within this range here. So when we had the huge buy to sell to buy, when we created the higher high, the last selling volumes were right here. There's one on a lower time frame that you can't see in here, and then one right here. So either one of those 3 levels, if we get a deeper push into this overall support. So as of right now, price is sort of counter trend, pushing short, bearish. I would like to go long from either of these 2 levels. If we push down further, then those 3 levels here for potential long. So looking for good probability trades. And in the short term, because we have objectives down below here, so down these 2 regions of demand, these 3, we're counter trend bearish at the moment. So because we're counter trend bearish and we have these objectives, we can be looking to short counter trend in the short term, right? So we had that huge bullish run on the dollar, followed through with bearish pressure to the downside. That was that last repricing, right? So that was the last buying volume before the lower low was made. I would like to see some sort of buy to sell into that level to short. So that's why, could be looking for short-term dollar weakness to start the week. All right, that's USD Swiss franc. NZDCAD. NZDCAD, I would like to continue to long. We had a great opportunity from this level. Talked about this, I think it was maybe a daily market breakdown video within our VIP, which is another reason why, guys, if you want to be caught up with this on a day-to-day basis, because we're not just going over setups every week up within these pre-market analysis. We're sending out trade ideas, setups, keeping our members up to date with everything we're looking at. Feel free to head over to my website, arielfxtrading.com. Just book a free call with me. I'd love to talk to you about how we can best help you along your journey, get you caught up within that journey to help you grow the skill set to make you a profitable trader over time. Because once you have the skill, then it's yours for life. And that's really where we want to aim for all of our clients. So caught a great opportunity. We saw a lot of accumulation in here. We made that higher high, higher low into that demand, higher high again, higher low into this demand, filling the imbalance. So great trade, wick entry, and then we're definitely break even and partials have been taken. So just to continue with the structure here, we can see a higher high, higher low, higher high. I would like to see this run, that sell side run, and then go long. We have imbalance right here. We have that last selling pressure in there. So really anywhere in this region of price, maybe 8.1, that's a psychological level for NZDCAD. That could definitely be a point of interest come next week. 2 more, AUD Swiss franc and Euro Swiss franc as well. For AUDCHF, we had a couple of levels, and we talked about these a couple of times before. We can see in here that we're definitely counter trend bullish at least. So short-term buying potentially. We can see that higher high, higher low. We swept sell side liquidity with that wick, and then from there on out, we started to make higher highs and higher lows again, creating these demand levels. Selling volume, higher high, mitigation. Selling volume, higher high. Haven't had that mitigation yet of that demand. We actually created equal lows. So I was hoping that price would come down in here, sweep those equal lows into that demand and go long, but we never did. We actually stopped and made a higher high. So this is where it just gets a little tricky. This is an area of demand, and we are in this trade right now, floating in a little bit of drawdown, but that's why we have multiple positions. So just in case we did react off that level and continue with structure and go long, great, we're in the trade. If not, and we actually come lower, which I think is probably going to be the case, we'll sweep sell side liquidity and look to buy it again around 57475. And what you'll notice here is we are creating a lot of buy and sell side liquidity. So I would like either one of 2 things to happen, either a buy to sell to buy, or some sort of sell to buy to go on. Overall, the market is bullish. So, even if, we lose this trade, fine, we lose, let's call it 1%. We lose 1%, and then if we win this trade here, we win 6.3. So netting 5.3. That's why it's okay to have multiple levels as long as your rules are met for each of those levels, right? You're not going to win every trade, so we need to stop acting like that's going to be the case and trying to pick and choose which level is actually going to be reacted from. So buy it from both levels. That's what I did, right? So if it goes long, because the probability is higher for us to go long than short, right? So I know we are in an overall downtrend. However, I would like to see further higher prices deeper into premium up here, maybe around 0.6. That's a good psychological level. So that's AUD Swiss franc. Last one for the weekend, Euro Swiss franc here. So again, a lot of accumulation, a lot of choppiness, a lot of sideways price action. But what's interesting is, you know, if we are to go short, I really do think we need to push up a little bit higher, and higher up as in at least back into the last buying volume before the lower low is created. So back up into anywhere between 97 and 97.50. You can see there's a lot of imbalance still in here, just straight selling volume. We had that last bullish run that ended up making the lower low. So that huge supply zone is definitely on the table for potentially longing into that level if we can find a setup. So we actually do have equal highs here as well. These are perfectly equal highs. That's a lot of buy-side liquidity. So where is the counter trend structure? Well, we have a high, we have a low, we have a higher high here, a higher low, and then a higher high. What we'll notice is with the news that came out last Thursday, the 22nd, actually no, 2 Thursdays ago, I believe, we had a huge imbalance that was created, right? Just straight buying volume, not much of a pullback, ended up trickling back to the upside, created those equal highs, and now we're starting to pull back. So generating a lot of buy-side liquidity here. So this is almost like this pennant or triangle formation for retail traders. So if it breaks out to the downside, they're going to look to short it. But that's a good level, 96, psychological level imbalance, just deeper into discount for us to look to buy it, then into buy-side liquidity resting above this probably retail trend line if you draw one. So that's definitely something I'm looking for, and we can correlate that well with AUDCHF looking for XXX Swiss franc to go long. So definitely looking to buy that at 96, taking buy side coming into that supply zone at around 97.20, 97.225. So looking definitely for continuations this upcoming week. That's pretty much all I had, guys. You know, there hasn't been too many setups. I went through all the pairs, didn't find much. They had a lot of just choppiness for the past couple of weeks. Finally started to see some volatility on the dollar, which is a good sign coming into Q4 to finish off the year. But we will obviously keep all of you VIP members up to date with everything that we are looking at throughout this upcoming week. Hope you enjoyed this pre-market analysis video. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Be happy to help in any way that I can. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great trading week ahead.
Tired of missing trades or spending hours at the charts? Introducing my Robot Builders Club. With our platform, you can build bots in minutes, not weeks, without any coding required. Get lifetime access to my video course, VIP community, and over 40 ready-made robots. Works with MT4 or MT5, and as a bonus, you'll get 3 months access to my robot lab, where we build and test bots on live calls every week. Join the hundreds of traders who are trading smarter, not harder. Click the link in the description to learn more, get the free training, and download a free robot.